Good. Are you ready for your interview?
Yeah, I'm ready. I just got off work, but I'm ready.
My first question to you is why do you think you should be the head of a hospital task force?
Well, one, the reason why I think I would be a good fit for the HP task force is because when I first hopped on the game, I started off as a EMS, so I know the area pretty well around there. Also, I thought maybe if I got the position, I would be able to talk to one of the higher ups at HP, so we can figure out a situation to where it's not a problem for when officers go in to make arrests.
Hold on, Hex. Give
Certain
me
people.
1 second.
No worries, no worries.
Drex, is it like emergency? I'll call you back in a few after I'm finished up here. Alrighty. Continue, Hex. I'm so sorry.
No, you're all good, Chief. But yeah, I feel like I'd be a great fit for the head of task force because I used to work at EMS when I first hopped in the gym, and I know the area very well. Another second reason why is because I've been on this game for a while. I've been getting really good with the RP rules, knowing certain situations and how to handle them. Yeah.
What's your availability like?
Well, due to my job starting, it does vary depending on how they schedule me. Some days they'll schedule like 3 or 4 days. Some days they'll schedule me 5 days, to where I only have like 2 days off. But other than that, like normally when I get off work, I normally come and hop off on the game. So I would say anywhere on my closing shifts, anywhere after 10:30, I'll be available. On my off days, I'm available at any time.
All right.
Yeah, what's the word?
It's his interview. Okay, I'm sorry. My next question would be, how many trainings would you say you conduct a week for your unit?
You said how many trainings I can conduct in a week, you said?
No, how many trainings would you conduct in a week with your unit?
Hmm. I would say a good within a week. I would be able to do at least. I ain't gonna go over and say 10. I feel like that's kind of overkill. I would say like a good like 6 or 5 maybe.
So 5 days out the week.
Yes.
Um, the first few weeks, if you became head of hospital task force, what would the first few weeks look like? What would you do in the first couple of weeks?
The first couple weeks, I would definitely be doing some training, so make sure everyone is on board with with the new formation and the whole new setup, and make sure they know the proper macros to draw, and to make sure. And I would, yeah, I think that's as much as I got right now.
How would you keep your team motivated?
Um, I think I would be able to keep my team motivated in a way of just like checking up on them, make sure everything is good with them, and also probably do some give them, what's the word, like do a little, not like a test, but like a little like I guess like you can say like a giveaway or something, and give see who can get the most the rest, and whoever wins, gets like some money or something. I'll send them that way.
Okay. So I have a question, a scenario actually. Um, if there's like, how do you say it? A disagreement with EMS and a head of task force on the plans and everything, how would you go about the situation?
If there's a disagreement on stuff, I'm always good at trying to solve the situation. I'm always good at trying to figure out what works best for what situation, and for who, and which, where, etc., etc. I think that's how I would be able to handle that situation. But just trying to come to like a standard ground, even ground kind of, so it makes like therefore everyone can be on the same page.
What's your goal for the head of task? Head of hospital task force.
My goal would be to keep HP clear, and to keep it more positive, a more safe environment where there's not too much craziness going around. Therefore, people can work and do their job in a fashionably order.
Okay, I have another scenario. Um, there is like a few people on your team that disagree with your plan, that disagree with your plans, how you're running the head of hospital task force. How would you go about that?
Well, I would kind of get some of their feedback to see what the problem is, and to see how I can be able to fix that and into a way to where it's not too much to where I'm like just going off of what they say, but also just kind of make it to where it's a workful environment to where there's no chaos, no problems.
Okay. You as head, if you become head of task force, I'm sorry, head of hospital task force, what would be the requirements for an officer to join? What would you look for?
What I would look for is to definitely to make sure that they know the RP rules. Because I know I've seen during hiring events, and I've seen a lot of rookies, come in. But also not just in rookies, but I've seen rookies that have gotten up to vesteds, and I've seen them use their RP rules. I've seen people misdrop their macros. So I definitely would make sure that they're familiar with the game rules. They know the proper macros that they need to drop. Um, and and honestly, to make sure that they're just higher than the rank badges and vesteds are allowed out. If you're a rookie, if that is a thing, going to be in the hospital task force. If they're rookies, same rules applies that. I would apply that same rules apply here, would apply at the head of task force for me.
Um, I had a good question. Hold on. I have a scenario. So one of the people in your unit, you find someone gives you some evidence of being, um, tasing without macros, all of this. This is a good officer, your top officer. And some evidence come across your desk and they're tasing without macros. they're pretty much being disrespectful to civilians. They're doing something a little corrupt. How would you go about that?
If I was to get evidence of that happening, I mean, the rules are there, and rules are rules. We have our job. We're police officers, so we're held to a higher standard. So they should already know that. There should be no reason why they should be doing that. But the rules are rules, and that would be considered RP-13, and that would be automatic dismissal because I wouldn't want any other officers in that unit thinking that's okay to go out there and to do that.
Okay. So the head of hospital task, he has two supervisors. Those two super. Wait. No. So this is easy for me to explain. So you know how chief has two DFGs? Head of hospital task force will have quote unquote two DFGs, and then CGs, your DFGs would have two CGs. So what would you look for in that leadership positions? Like, what requirements should somebody display to you or have that would make them like part of the leadership?
I would say work experience. They at least have to have a good time like inside of one state. A good some months. Spent some time into the game. Definitely, and definitely have to be good at knowledge of the RP rules, etc. Honestly, just have to withhold and hold yourselves up to that higher standard. So, like, you come into PD, you treat people with respect, and that's given back to you. I feel like that's part of being in a higher up, especially as a CG and a DFG. Is make sure you're keeping it cool. You can't let other people's get you to break out of your character, out of RP character. Yeah, and just and also just really wants to be good at what they do, and especially at that job in that position.
What would be your first plan for head of hospital task force?
My first task would be one, get the training that we need to perform a job for head of task force and make sure everyone's dropping out with macros. Two would be that's going to be my task is to see what I can do to help clear HP out and just so I can be able to help the hiring up staff. See what we can do to help them make HP more better, a little bit quieter, not so effective.
Wesley, can you get that for me, please?
Wait, what?
They said I'm needed on floor 1.
Yeah, that's J-Buck. How is that guy idea that you guys?
What the?
My other question would be, what would be your plan like for inmate transport? Because I know, when you leave the car alone for a while, they despawn and everything. What would be your plan for that?
My plan on that, I had a good idea. I was actually going to bring this up for chief for this department as well. Instead of, how we when we get the calls like, hey, we need to go clear out HP, and you know how we normally like everybody goes to HP, and I know when everyone goes in there, sometimes they can be in there for a while, doing their job, and I know those cars would despawn. What if we kept like 2-3 officers back? I would say keep at least like two to three badges back, since they're going to be the ones that can be able to operate cars, not rookies, and they can answer those calls. I would say keep a couple of them back for when or let's say if I send 4 vests to go clear out HP, and they're in there for a while. Let's say 3 of them come back with their cars, but the other 2 are stuck behind, and their cars despawn on them. When they request for the inmate transport, I would make it up to those 2 to 3 officers that are left behind to make sure that they answer those calls and they get down to HP to get that inmate transferred back over to the PD office or garage. I don't even know if it's gonna have a garage, but yeah.
Alrighty. What type of like? How would your schedule go when you if you become head of hospital task force? And your 2 DFGs. How would your schedule? Like, how would you schedule all of that? Who takes what? How would you go about that?
Like, you mean like who takes certain days? Like for example, like say if I like wasn't able to come on, like would I be pick a DFG? Like, hey, I need you to be there these certain days, like Monday, Tuesday, so I won't be on, or I won't be on until later, like like that.
Yes.
Yeah, I would definitely. So what I would do is definitely, what if I was to be given this position? One, I would want to run over my schedule with my DFGs, so therefore we can be all on the same page and in contact. So if something does happen, and let's say I'm in the middle of working and I can't hop on right away, I could send a text message over to one of my DFGs, like, hey, there's a situation going on. Can you hop in and come and go handle that? And just tell them to make sure you have your body cam on. Just cam the whole situation. And then when I get on later, I can review the whole incident, and whatever necessary measurements need to be placed, I can go ahead and do so the right way and properly. But my plan is, if I do get this position, I do want to try to be on in the morning. I want to try to work around my sleeping schedule and try to get on in the mornings, try to be around. And then if worst comes to worst, if I have to go to work, I can let one of my DFGs know, like, hey, I'm going to be on from this time to this time, but I got to go to work from this time to that time, to let them know. And then I'll be available from 11:30 or 12, depending on what time I'm getting off and driving home.
What type of trainings would you conduct? Like, would be your top 2, 3 trainings you would conduct?
My top number one training, it would be the taser training. Um, that will be one of them, because I mean, if you depend on how I'm getting them, if they're rookies or if I'm gonna have some badge vests, then I would like them to be able to know their macros, to be able to train the rookies that we do get, and to be able to make sure that they understand our RP rules, the rules of the head task force. Once I get those, then I can be able to explain that. And yeah, so one of them will be taser for sure, because I know we're going to be inside of HP a lot. So they definitely got to know how to drop those macros, and to make sure not to tase anybody without dropping macros. My next training would be, I'm I'm not too sure on the other trainings. I kind of do want a little more info on the head task force, like what is going to be like the main focus of that job. And because if we are just going to be more focused on just clearing HP or around HP, etc., like that, then I would want to focus on the taser training. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to go on RP around the city. I'm not sure if that's what our main objective is going to be, or if it's going to be one of them, because I know that we're going to have this one over here open, so I know that's going to be the regular thing going on over here. But honestly, I would say off the top of my head, it's definitely the taser training. If you're going to be in the HP, you got to let people know to put your guns down, drop that macro. If you don't comply, you have to drop that taser to be able to make that arrest. and yeah, and make sure that they're doing all their paperwork and their booking right too as well. 'Cause I don't want to. I know I have seen a few people do some arrests wrong and still post a video, and I don't think that. Um, I don't think that person should have been arrested because of the fact that they misconducted the whole thing.
Is the interview done? Why is that so quiet?
No, I was thinking of more questions. Leslie, do you have a?
Damn, T, you sound sleepy as hell.
Oh yeah, but do you have a few questions?
No. I mean, if you're sleepy, T, you can get off and go and sleep. I will be on here for a few.
Okay. Um, do you have any questions or concerns, Hex?
No, just
Any
other than
questions
just
for?
any just maybe just knowing a little bit more about like the head of task force and what's going to be going on down there, like what's our main focus and objective. That's really my own question.
The main focus is HP, to get HP clear to do not patrols, but round the clock patrols inside HP. Every time HP calls, you guys you don't have to be here all the time. But your team
Okay, gotcha.
your team respond clearing around HP inside. Just patrol.
Now,
That's like you
another
guys
question
want.
is it only inside or is it outside as well? Like, say, like the parking lot areas, are we also clearing those out? Or is it just the main focus is just inside HP?
No, it's inside HP overall. HP overall, inside lobby, parking lot, all of that. Inside, outside, the whole HP.
Copy that. Then yeah, then my next training would be to make sure on since it's going to be outside as well, to make sure that not to be shooting from the green zone. To make sure you can only use your pistols, and if it's not a pistol, make sure they're using their cages for sure. But yeah, now I thank you for that information because now I can kind of think about some opportunities to start some trains. Yeah, that's all I got.
That's all questions you got for us?
No, that was it. I mean, next question would have been like, if I didn't get the position, would a DFG spot be available, or a CG, whatever, basically whatever my next rank would be.
If they pick you to be one, they obviously got to pass it through chief, get approval from chief. But if they recommend you, definitely chief will take that into account and talk to you and stuff.
Oh, okay, copy that. Yep, and that's all I got for you guys.
Alrighty, Hex. Thank you for coming.
No, you're welcome. Thank you guys for being patient. Sorry if I kept you waiting for a while. I was trying. Hopefully, I was going to be off at 10:30 or